doing. Alright, so what we got going on right now is basically just preparing the sheeting for the top of the wing. So I got the right hand side pretty much all trimmed out, beveled on the front of the leading edge area so that it can basically have a good seam. Alright, I'm working currently right now on the left hand side, and I got it overlapped right now on the right hand sheeting, and I'm going to have it basically marked where I need to make the trimming so that these two sheetings can butt up against each other, edge glue to each other. Other than that, I came up with an idea on how I'm going to basically sheet this without inducing any warpage into the wing. And I option, of course, as you can see, to edge glue all the sheetings together, opposed to doing it as per the manual. They give you different ways, but the other one way is basically doing it individually, strip by strip. The downfall of that is that the edge joints, basically you can't pre-sand them, so it's gonna be all over the place. And you're gonna have to do most of your sanding to get it all nice and straight while it's already on the wing. And so I really don't like that idea. I prefer sanding everything just like it is right now. That way, less work once it's all sheeted. Okay. And so I did not show that in this video because I've done it many times. I did it on the P40. I did it on the Top Flight Cessna 182. So if you need to know how to properly edge glue your sheetings together to produce a smooth finish prior to adding it to your wing or to your stab or your fin, all that stuff, or even your fuselage, go ahead and you can check those videos out on here on the channel. Other than that, I'm just trying to get straight to the point and get this thing done. I haven't gotten the retract yet, but since I'm utilizing E-flite electric retracts, I don't need to really route any hoses and all that stuff into the retract wells at this point. I'm really just gonna need to put in the extension. Now, what I already had done as well is, if you look here, I went ahead and I routed some string from my aileron and my flap, and they all congregate basically right here in the center where originally the aileron servo would be. Since I'm not doing an individual servo for the with the bow cranks or bell cranks, this is just going to be an open spot. So I'm just going to open that up so that my extensions can come out. But yeah, I went ahead and not pre-wired, but stringed it. Now, as far as the retract's concerned, once I get the retract in, all I have to do is just basically cut it out and open this up so we have all that room to fish the extension through. So not a big deal. All right, so other than that, that's pretty much what we're doing right now, is just getting the sheeting all lined up and everything, and get this wing basically all sheeted up. And so we got the bottom of the wing already sheeted up in previous videos, and it sat like this for about 2 years. And so yeah, now we're getting somewhere. So, and also forgot to mention how I'm gonna go ahead and sheet this top wing without causing or inducing any warpage into the wing. And so, because they don't provide you any jigs to, once you flip the wing upright, you basically have to do this in a careful manner, all right? And so, because we got the bottom air scoop ply former and all that stuff down here, we can't really just sit the wing down like that and do all your sheeting work, because everything is just rocking all over the place. And so I got this big cushion from an old futon, and this is what I use for putting my delicate wings or body parts and stuff, you know, fuselage and all that stuff when I'm gonna sand it or work on it. And so what I do here is you can, let me pull it to this side. For example, I'm gonna sheet this right hand side. I will basically put my wing. I'm just showing this to you real quick, but just imagine I push everything this way, I can actually clear the wall, but since I'm not really prepared to do this right now, so there you go. Now I can put that portion of the wing at the corner. Now my whole wing basically is now flat. Technically, once I actually get my situation here all set when I'm gonna do this. But okay, so now from here I can actually put a little pressure, because from here to just in front of the main spar is flat on this cushion, and so I'm not inducing any warps or anything. I'm not pushing down the leading edge while I'm holding the tip, you know, and all that stuff. So once I'm ready to actually glue this thing together, I will start by putting some thin CA on the leading edge right here to lock that down, and then from there I add all the glue to all the ribs and the spar and all that stuff, and then I'll put the sheeting down. And from here, keeping the wing, the 3 points of contact basically, which is basically the training edges here and the main spar. So everything right here is all flat. And then from there, just lightly press down on my wing, just like so. And attaching this sheeting onto the main wing itself. That way, we're not potentially sheeting in a warp. All right. Yeah, and that's basically how I'm planning on doing that. So we can keep everything nice and true. And if you do this as well and put it right there, I can also take care of the front end, you know, if I need to. But yeah, good thing I got this big cushion. That way I can go ahead and tackle this this part of the job. But other than that, that's how I'm gonna do it, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and basically sheet the wing. All right, so before we went ahead and sheet the wing, we got the wing basically sanded. So any glue drops or whatnot, any high spots, and all that basically has been taken care of. We sanded that. I went ahead and I added the string so that we can, once we cut open the aileron bay, the flap, we can basically pull the servo leads through. All right. I was going to make a tube, a lightweight tube, just so that a conduit, so the extensions can go through, but what the heck. All right, so I got my cushion basically laid here. I got another piece of cushion on this side to prop up the wing to keep it nice and flat on this end, as you can see. All right, so we got that going on. Trailing edge here is all flat on the surface. Now the front part is not flat, so as you can see, we can still put in a warp. But if you were to put pressure at the trailing edge area like this, not too much, but just to keep everything down, you can go ahead and apply a little pressure to the front, with basically without inducing any twist to the wing. Okay, because the majority, this part right here, this portion is basically in contact with the cushion, and maybe up to about right here, midpoint of the trailing edge area. So from the, leading edge, from the trailing edge to about right here is touching this cushion. Everything else above is up in the air. Okay, so this is the way I'm gonna do it, and I feel comfortable doing it this method. All right, so I got my sheeting, and I'm gonna basically leave the flaps on there until later on, and we'll cut it out. All right. Now you can also, if you want, you can also include the flaps, but I figured I'm just gonna do the flaps separately and sheet that, instead of having to try to get everything on nice and tight all at one shot. Okay. And so I'll go ahead and line up my sheeting here on the wing where I need it to be, and from here we can go ahead and I can add a mark. Once I find my pin, I'm just gonna add a mark here, just so that I know when I position this back down, that we are in the right spot. Right about here. Okay, so I got my marks. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead. I don't have thin CA, unfortunately, so the reason why I'm doing it this way is because I'm going to put a bead of medium CA to the leading edge portion of my sheeting. And then I'm going to, with tape in hand, line this thing up, shove it directly down in there, and then pull my tape and pull the sheeting tight against the leading edge. And then we're just gonna let it cure. Once that's done curing, then we're gonna come back, lift up the sheeting a little bit, and we're gonna start putting medium CA on all the ribs and the main spar, all that. Besides the leading edge of the flap, we're not gonna put any adhesive on that. All right, and then we'll go ahead and start pushing it down onto the model. Alright, so just like that, pretty much the basis of getting the sheeting down on here and keeping it nice and straight right here on the trailing edge. And so yeah, everything worked out pretty good. As you can see, the wing is still laying flat, minus putting it up like that. There you go. Okay, so the wing's still flat. We're good to go. Yeah, I think that's the easiest way, to be honest. It's just I'm dealing with I don't have thin CA, so I have to deal with the medium and thick. So it works out. It's just the thick CA, man, try squeezing that out of the bottle throughout the whole thing. My hands were getting cramped. But other than that, we're gonna go ahead and continue on. We're gonna do the same thing for the rest of the wing. We got the front pieces here as well that we'll just pop on there once everything goes said and done. We might have to trim it down a little bit because now that everything is really pushed down onto the ribs, things kind of move out a little bit wider. Okay, so to include the separation of the flaps, and then we can go ahead and true this up, or the trailing edge area, and also trim all this as well. So yeah, for the most part, we got that part done. We can actually turn this over and do the opposite side as well in this state. Get it done as well. Like that. Same deal. Nothing different. Besides just doing the opposite wing. Alright guys, so what I'm going to be doing now is pretty much just getting my wingtips not completely final sand or anything, but just basically shaped, and we're still going to leave it squared off somewhat until we get very close to actually finishing the model, because I don't want to finish this and then moving the wing around and then I ding it, and all that other stuff. So in the past, I have used my little wood planer that comes with the little X-Acto wooden case, never really had good experiences with it. But then again, that's just me at a younger age. But since then, I've been using different type of rasp. I got a few rasp here. I got a round one, aggressive, more aggressive, and then my finer one right here. This is the one that I mostly use. Now, if I'm trying to cut down a real big, thick stock of, block of balsa, then I'll use my more aggressive one, like this, to get down, or I'll just use my saw and cut as much as I need off, and then I'll come by with this and actually get it down. But so that's basically what I'm gonna do. Is I'm just going to get this wingtip about the shape of the wing, and that's about it. So we're gonna go ahead and cut out the left side flap, and so oh boy, okay. On the flat, we have separate sheeting that dissects the flat, top and bottom. However, what I did, excuse me, what I did kind of wrong here was that I made the sheeting a little too tight right here. But my blade, my saw can still go through. So I guess we're still good. I just want to make sure. Yep, we're still good. It's going through. I'm not cutting right now, I'm just making sure I can get all the way down to the bottom like that. You see my blade, my saw, just making sure that I can get down there. Okay, because I don't wanna cut this and not feel it coming out the bottom, and then I end up cutting into the stringer or the frame of the flat. So I gotta make sure that I feel it come out. There you go. Alright. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it out. So we got the flat pretty much cut out. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna sand this leading edge flat, and then from there we will add the leading edge stock, and then we'll go ahead and do this as well. Alright, so as you can see, we're cutting that out. That's pretty much how it looks inside. All raw cut. Yeah. Alright. What I have done within the last hour, 30 minutes, somewhere around there, is, as you can see, I got one flat basically cut out. I got the flat leading edge already sanded and everything. So shaping this, what I did was, of course, I got my center line, and then I went to the plans and I just traced out the flat outline, and I made made a flat leading edge. So this is for the flat, for this one over here. It's just a guide, and then this part here is flat for the wing trailing edge, and this is gonna give me the depth and the contour, the shape of the backside, the inside here of the flat trailing edge location. So this right here, I wanna find something round about this diameter, and I'm gonna use that. But as you can see how the wing tapers down thinner, you won't be able to use this diameter all the way down in there, so you're gonna end up having to adjust. So yeah, we're gonna start here as the gauge, and we're gonna gauge the depth all the way through, all the way to the end. And what that's gonna do is that will give us a, so this is the this would be the wing, the flap. This would be the actual wing training edge. So when we're done with that training edge, the inside should look like that. And then this, of course, will be the flap. And so when you put the hinge in there, and you put it in, and then it will be able to hinge in place to a certain, right? So that's the idea behind that, based on the instructions. As you can see, I got this part, and then of course I cut this out, and then I'm using this just as a gauge, just to gauge the roundness all the way through, right? And then that's how I came up with that. I know I can still, as you can see, the center. The key is once the center line is gone, the pin mark, then you know you sanded that whole section. Now, I went ahead and I redrew my line. The reason why I redrew my line was because I'm going to use that to mark my hinge location so I can actually drill my hinges. So yeah, that's what we got going on here. I still can, like I said, I can still sand this a little bit more. As you can see, it's not completely round all the way through. You can see a hard line right there, right next to that line. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but I can. So, I mean, it still works, but I want to make sure it's completely round and pretty. All right. But once that's all said and done, and we got this also pocket, basically, this will go right in there, and then it'll almost countersink with the training edge there, where you won't see the gap. And then of course it's gonna come down for your flaps. But yeah. I'm working on the wing fairing at the moment, and to eliminate utilizing a lot of body filler or wood filler, I went ahead and I opted to do it this way. And I just basically built it up. I got my basic outline shape that I wanted to go from here all the way to the back, and how I got that was just basically a scrap of light balsa, and I just put it all in the fairing and outlined it. And this is basically my cut, and this will be the base portion, which is the one closest to the fuse, or the one attached to the fuse. And then everything else from there is just building it up. And I'm just using a ton of scrap balsa, light balsa, light balsa sticks, you know, and yeah, that's basically what we're doing. And for like this part, I took the balsa stick and I placed it there and kind of bent it right where it bent, and then I just made a series of slits all the way down, just like that, to allow it to conform to the curvature easier. And so from here, we're just going to basically get this thing shaped up. And it doesn't look pretty right now. Sometimes it don't even look like it's gonna be something at this, current state. But with a little bit of elbow grease and a little bit of luck, we can get this to the proper contour shape that we need based off of the plans. And to ensure that we are, close to the proper contour and everything like that, I'm going to go on the plans in the cross section, and based off the formers here, I'm going to basically make little templates of the actual concave, if that's what it is, the curve of the fairing, and I'm going to use those as gauges. I'm going to place them right there, just to make sure that if I need more sanding or I need to back off on the sanding or whatnot. So that's pretty much how I am doing this at this point. And yeah, and when we're all said and done and everything's all sanded, and it does require some filler, it's gonna be very minimal compared to just like filling this whole thing with filler. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much how I'm doing it. I went ahead and I basically finished up my wing fairing, and you can see I've been grinding away and rasping away, sanding away basically, and until I got close to where I needed to be. And so I made these gauges basically from the plans. If you go on the plans and you look at the cross section, you can basically trace this out. And what I did was I traced it out, and then I placed it on some excess ply that I had, and this is what I'm using to gauge the correctness based off the plans. Okay, the wing fairing. Now this is F5 right here, the former. This is F7 former right here, and this is F8 former right here. So when you're doing this on the plans, you're gonna go with F5 because F5 is right about here, and you're gonna see I'm very close to the curvature. All right, and then here's F7's right here, roughly. You can see I'm really close on this side, very close. And then F8 is basically this back former right here, and this one I'm right on the money as far as the curve. All right, so I'm in the ballpark, and so all I need to do from here is just fine tweak it. finish it off. And so, as you can see, let's see if you show you. So that's basically it. And so that's my wing fairing on that, and that's just a whole bunch of balsa, soft balsa, just basically stacked up on each other, and then sand it off basically. All right, guys. So we got pretty much the right hand side wing fairing completed. Yesterday we got the left side done, and so I tried to get it to look like each other based off the gauges that I made off of the plans, and so it is as close as we're gonna get, and I'm satisfied with it. But other than that, we got the left hand side wing fairing and the right hand side wing fairing. I did add a smidge of plastic wood just to hide some of the imperfections, like where the wood kind of joined together. I kind of had a gap, like where the fairing blends into the fuselage. I tried to get as close as I could with sandpaper without messing up the sides of the fuse or making any indentations. And so I basically utilize a real thin layer of plastic wood to kind of blend that in. It's not sanded yet. What I did was I put the plastic wood, then I squirted just over the mist of water and rubbed my finger over it just to get it nice and smooth. And that's pretty much what we did here. So we're just waiting for that to completely cure, and then we're gonna sand it all nice and smooth. It's pretty much the same way how I did the back tailplane, horizontal and vertical fin, horizontal stab, vertical fin, the whole section here. That has a little bit of plastic wood and all that. And yeah, so from here, we're done with the fuselage at this point. Still waiting on the Sato FG21. And once that gets in here, we can start doing the front nose of the model. And so this will be basically going to be built up, blocked up with the engine, of course, because we got to glue the spinner ring up front and make sure we got the right gap between the back plate of the spinner and this spinner ring or cowl ring, however you want to call it. And so yeah, gotta do that. Yeah, that's pretty much, this is as far as I can go on the fuselage at this point. Like I said, it's 97% completed. Just needs final sanding, and I'm not gonna final sand it until we're done with the complete nose section. And yeah, and just like the front here, I cannot shape this until we actually get that nose section done. That way I can pop the bottom cowling on there to find out exactly what and where do we need to shape. Alright, so I don't want to do that now without the engine, because everything is not going to line up right if we try to do it now. So other than that, on some cling wrap over the main wing structure, and then I put three I don't even know what weight this is. I went ahead and I put that down first, and then on top of that I put 3/4 ounce of finer weave to, you know, kind of make it more smooth. It's dry to the touch. I'll wait until basically tomorrow to really mess with it, but it's dry now to basically kind of remove this. Oh. Alright. Well, that's basically it right there. There's the wing. It's not messed up. So, yeah, we'll see how this thing works out. But other than that, at least I got that done. Alright, guys. All right, so because this is not the, the way I really want it to go, but I can't find actual oleo struts for a 60 size P51 Mustang to include the Hanger 9 version. Next shipment for oleo struts for that is not until next year, March. And so, yeah, pretty much SOL at this point. So I got the E-flite P47 oleo struts for Top-Flite P47 model, and unfortunately, as you can see, you're probably wondering what the heck's going on here. I had to make a hole in my gear door to clear the top portion of this axle because it's already bottoming out on the top portion of the wing sheeting. Okay, and so that's how we got it going on right now at this point. Of course, this is not the right size tire. I'm waiting for my wheels to come in, the 3.5. I wanted to go 4, but you know what? Hey, it is what it is. It's already bottoming out. It's touching there, so I can't do the whole interior portion of this door to make it look scale. So I'm not even gonna go completely scale because it's already ruined it. Not having the actual oleo struts for P51. So we're just gonna go with what we got. All right, and so this is pretty much what we got going on. I might put a little cap thing here, maybe put a little body filler over that, kind of hide it. We're gonna have a little lump or hump type deal. You know what? It is what it is. Or I can make a new one and kind of have it bubbled up a little bit more, for shits and giggles type deal. But this is how we got it going on right now at this point. And so on this area right here, I'll probably make a fiberglass cover to kind of cover this whole section, or I might just balsa this portion right here, sheet that, and leave this open just like that. You know what? At this point, it is what it is. We're not going complete true to scale on the gears because it's already ruined with not having the right oleo strut. I can't find, like I said, oleo strut for a 60 size that is worth a dang. So the Hanger 9 is the closest one I can get, but it's not until 2026 in March. So hey, gotta do what we gotta do. But that's what we got going on so far. Things can change if I get lucky, but unfortunately I'm not. And the shipping times is just way too damn long. So that's what I got going on, guys. I went ahead and I grabbed my old Oratex from the shop, my old shop. Gotta remind you that the shop has no AC on at the moment. I mean, for the past year, so it's kind of hot in there and everything. So I don't trust the backing adhesive on the Oratex at this point. So that's the reason why we're gonna go ahead and utilize Cover Grip by Deluxe Materials. And this Cover Grip, I went ahead and I put a very thin layer on the wood structure of the rudder. Every area that the Oratex material will be covering and touching has the Cover Grip on there. I went ahead and put a very thin layer of Cover Grip as well on the Oratex material that I'll be utilizing to cover the rudder. And so we're just gonna allow this to properly cure, maybe about an hour or so, then we'll come back to it, and then we'll start utilizing the sealing iron on low heat to tack everything down, get it all nice and tight, and then we'll go ahead and shrink it down with the heat gun. So this Cover Grip, the utilization of Cover Grip is so that we can ensure we get a good bond from between the wood and also the material, and to prevent any pullback or pulling away from the seams when we're adding the heat to get it all drum tight. And I do not want to do this multiple times, so we're just gonna get one shot at doing this, and I don't want to have to try doing it without Cover Grip and then end up finding out that it's not getting tight because it's being, the adhesive is no longer strong to hold the material on there. So to prevent all that, prevent all doing so much work, we're just gonna go straight into using Cover Grip right off the get-go. Alrighty, shit.